Hello, Sharif here. And today we're going to be, says I am not live. I'm going to try going live again. Okay, now it says I'm live. So I'll try again. Sharif here. And today we're going to do theoretically, we're going to do part two of our 1,000-year future, envisioning our future. In case you've forgotten where you are, this is the view inside the chrysalis, highlights on our journey to a new reality. We're going to be looking at current or world events from a new perspective, from the perspective of inclusivity, societal transformation, and what it's going to take for us to get to a world that literally works for all living beings. As we begin our programs, one of the most important things that we can do is to focus ourselves. That focus is taking the place of a very short meditation. How short? I always have to get my little timer out. I'm going to spend 2 minutes focusing ourselves outside of ourselves. What do I mean by that? You'll find out in a second. So to figure out which buttons to push here. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. And I invite you to go deep, deep within yourself. Take a really deep breath and then let it out deeply. I invite you to take another deep breath, and this time let it out with a sigh. You may want to do that again. It's your 2 minutes to move away from your thoughts. So I invite you to come back to your center. And when you are ready, open your eyes and we will begin. Okay. So I said that we're going to start on looking at the second part of looking at our 1,000-year future. And I said, maybe, almost. And the reason for maybe is I've looked at all the statistics that I can, and it looks like I shouldn't say no one, 3 people actually looked at the Appendix 3 that I posted. And I also looked at the number of people who actually viewed the last live stream. Remember, most people are accessing the live stream not from being live, but from being looking at the recording. And a number of people told me that they would be doing that for them, this hour is an inconvenient time for them. Um, but it looks as though fewer people watch the one that I asked people to refer people to, and almost no one looked at the appendix, 11 pages. No one read 11 pages. I shouldn't say that. 3 people read 11 pages. No comments. Um, so my question is, what what am I doing, and why am I doing this? Okay, what's the the idea behind what I'm doing here? So I'm going to, and we can't discuss the 1,000-year future because you didn't read the 1,000-year future. We might do that next time, or I'm going to go back to doing the practicing wisdom piece for Friday. I guess I'm trying to keep Fridays on a more transcendent level. But I want to tell you a little bit about my experiences. Most of you know me. Most of you know my background. Okay, my background includes traveling around the world several times, 45 countries. Some of you have heard some of my stories from those countries, but today I want to put those stories in context. So I want to tell you about being in Argentina during their last economic, no, sorry, during their first economic downturn, year 2000, and being shocked at watching thousands of people on trash day going through their neighbor's trash looking for something to eat. Now, these weren't what we here in America would call homeless people, the people who are wearing rags and the people who are mumbling to themselves and living in tents, etc. These were formerly middle-class people with money in the bank, with a nice home, with um, you know, a definable future. They knew what was going on in their lives. They thought they knew what was going on in their lives. And all that comfort disappeared overnight. It disappeared overnight because it's a fiction. It's a fiction we all believe in. We all buy into the fiction, except when the fiction doesn't work, in which case you go out and you eat garbage out of trash cans. Now, if you are asking me, I'm asking myself, if you're asking me, why is Sharif doing all this stuff? Okay, why, why don't I either go on permanent vacation, as many of us do? Why don't I trade in Bitcoin? Why don't I do all these other things? Well, the answer is really simple. I don't want you to have to eat out of a trash can. I don't want anybody on the planet to eat out of a trash can. If people anywhere on the planet are eating out of garbage cans by the thousands, that means that the world does not work for them. And if we're creating a world that works for all, we have to stop that from happening. Now, I have a philosophy, a practice, and a plan for how not to do that. And what I find happening is that people ignore that. People, um, first of all, don't want to face it unless it's happening to them right now. If you remember the movie, a good movie, Deep Impact, the one where Morgan Freeman made a very credible president, the asteroid's going to hit the Earth. People knew it for 18 months. They knew that something was going to happen and that they had to change their lives. So if you know something is absolutely guaranteed going to happen, it's going to happen at a particular time, 18 months in the future, what would you do? It's very simple. I thought it was very I thought Hollywood called this one right. If you've got 18 months to prepare, you wait 17 months. You wait all the way up to the last minute, and then you run around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you cause the world's largest traffic jam, and then everybody dies. Now, why don't we get smarter? We're being invited to be smarter. Okay. And our challenge is what is our what keeps us from acting? What keeps us from taking these steps? Maybe because we don't identify with the people that are where it's actually happening to them. It's like those people over there, those people over in Africa. It's like, well, Africa. Oh, those people in South America. Oh, South America. Then when it was happening in Greece, well, the Greeks, and finally it begins to happen to you. And there's nothing you can do about it because all the people that it was going to help, that could help you, you are in rough shape. I was in Cuba back in the 90s when they were going through what's called their special period. And the special period is this collapse of the Soviet Union that was keeping them afloat. So the special period is we have nobody keeping us afloat. I was talking to a young man, and he was telling me how they had gotten so low on food that they were eating their dogs. Now, he explained to me that he said, nobody can eat their own dog. You just can't do it. He said, but my neighbor staked his dog out in his yard, knowing that somebody was going to come along and kill it and eat it. And I said goodbye to my dog, and I staked my dog out into the yard, knowing that my neighbor was going to come and kill it and eat it. Now, what I'm doing, and what all of us should be doing, is making sure none of us have to eat our dogs. Okay? Now, my I keep going, thinking about what will happen in our future. I keep going by um, by keeping my focus aimed at the horizon. I have things that slow me down. One of the things that slows me down, like when I went down to Puerto Vallarta to get my teeth fixed, for some reason, God keeps all of my teeth in Mexico. um, um, I was down there and saying, yeah, I can live like this. I can I live a simple life here, but it's a lot cheaper to live that simple life in Mexico. Um, so our challenge is how do we, uh, sorry, I'm down with Mexico. I come back. And the reason I come back is I don't want you eating your dog. I don't want you running around when the money disappears. I want you to say, "Oh, Sharif said the money was going to disappear. Um, he's about a month off in his predictions, but it's okay because we know what to do when the money disappears." Okay. Um, so our challenge is, can we act now for the future that we can't see? So the as you know, the title to the new book is "What the Baby Looks Like: Birthing the Nation of Gaia." Now, one of the things around what the baby looks like is the fact of understanding that we're pregnant and that we're going to have a baby and that we get to figure out what this baby actually looks like. For most of us who focus our attention in the immediate, focus our attention in whatever the corporate media wants us to pay our attention to, which is never anything that actually is affecting how we live on this planet. Once we get over the corporate media, once we get over, and this is the most important thing, and the thing that we have to focus on, once we get over our fear, the things that I said to you, I'm not telling you because I'm afraid. I'm afraid we're going to have to eat our dogs, and no, now that's something that the media could pick up on. But I'm not telling you this stuff because I want you to be afraid. I'm telling this to you because there's something that we can do. When I have one of these talks, and every once in a while I have one of these talks. Uh, I get a bunch of calls from people, hey Sharif, what should I do? Like, well, we should come together. And no, not what we should do. What should I do? Should I take my money out of the bank? Should I buy property in Mexico? Should I? And it's like you immediately want to go to an individual response when the way out of this process is together. Once we come together, not in fear, not in anger, that those people over there caused the problem. No, those people over there caused the problem. Once you let go of all that, we can start the process of seeing what it is that we need to do. And once we do that, we'll start seeing a world a different way. I'm seeing comments around the appendix. Some of you were not able to get it, and I know I know that if you were accessing this through LinkedIn, sorry, couldn't do it. I am going to put the link in the chat if I can figure out how to do that. And this goes to all. And this says that it's going to the Facebook page, my 2 Facebook pages, and to YouTube. And it did not go to LinkedIn again. So I don't know how to do that. If you write to me, I'll give it to you. If you someone said I got it, but I can't open it, I sent them a new link, and they opened it. This isn't really hard. The hard part is recognizing that you have a role. I heard from someone saying, "Oh no, it's all automatic, and I don't have a role." It is all automatic. All of us have a role. My role is the magnetizer, the one who pulls the people together who are going to be doing the stuff. And you are being pulled right now, and you get to do stuff. I don't know what your role is, but your role is to be active. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple more of the, okay, this is again, trying something new. It says show, so I'm going to be showing Greg's comment. He says, I don't know if I count as one of the 3 people. Yes, you do. But I did look at the appendix. You seem to be giving a lot of credence to Google Docs surveillance capabilities. I'm not sure what that means. The 3 people were the 2 Gregs, single G and double G, and another person. Number of people saying you didn't see the appendix. I just sent the link again. If you still can't get it, you know my email address. Send me a note and I'll send it to you. Greg again says, I'm interested in discussions about the 12 Global Challenge, but I'm not necessarily interested in you sharing your personal vision as a Solon. Are you interested in hearing ideas that are not your own? Interesting comment. There are a number of you who, actually, the majority of you have no idea what the 12 Global Challenges are. You have no idea what a Solon is. I can't stress more. Actually, this is an example of me being very interested in hearing ideas that are not mine and getting no response. If you go back, the reason I sent out the appendix is for you. Oh, by the way, I'm seeing 3 people on the appendix right now. The reason I sent the appendix out is for you to comment on. I didn't send it out saying, "Oh, I want you to memorize this." I'm not sure what the order of things is. I'm not sure that this comes before that. I am really sure I'm missing, half a dozen or more different examples of what needs to be done. The only thing I can do is invite people to come. And if they come, we have a discussion. If they don't come, there'll be no discussion. I can't force people to talk. Okay. There's a number of back and forths around getting the link, and you've all got the link now. I shouldn't say, well, everybody on either Facebook or on YouTube have the link, and everybody else can send me a note. Um, okay, so we're winding up now, and I'll tell you what happens now. Oh, by the way, the comments that I'm looking for are not you've got a dangling participle, or your spacing is wrong, or you need an apostrophe somewhere. I've got somebody else looking at that. That doesn't mean it's unwelcome. But the thing that I want are your ideas, not your fear-based ideas, not your conspiracy theory ideas, not your what is popular in the media right now ideas, but really, what is it going to take for us to get to a world that works for all living beings? And specifics. When I opened for you, and I got to pull it over here. When I opened for you the the 1,000-year plan. So in 5 years, we confront the big three: food, water, and energy. You may say it's not food, water, and energy, it's food, water, and housing. Fine, we'll talk about it. It's not, we should, and there's lots of people who are looking at the future saying we have to have nuclear energy in order to get away from fossil fuels. Well, we're going to have a very short conversation about that, but we can have a conversation about that. The 25-year plan of repurposing our militaries, a number of people have questioned me about that what we should be doing is getting rid of our militaries. We don't need them. They're over, all of the arguments against militaries. I agree with all of them. But you got all these folks who have all the equipment in the world, and there's more than just the blowing up equipment. They also have constructive equipment, and they are very purpose driven. You give them a purpose and they do it. So by repurposing our militaries, we get ourselves into being able to do do amazing things, I think. In our 500-year plan, I say we terraform Earth. And I had one person who was an advanced reader for the book say, oh, that 500 years is way, way too long. We should be terraforming Earth 50 years from now. That person doesn't understand what terraforming means. We're planning on terraforming Mars. That means that we're going to make Mars look and act more like Earth. I'm proposing that we take Earth and make that look more like Earth. So, for example, if you look at, I should have had a globe up. Oh, and I'm running out of time too. Okay. But if you really look at the globe, and especially if you have a color-coded one, look at the amount of desert that's already covering our planet. Why don't we roll some of that back? I'm suggesting 20%. Somebody else could say, oh, just 10%. Somebody could say, leave the desert exactly as it. Somebody could say, we need more deserts in the world. That's called a conversation. But we can't have that conversation unless you commit your idea. You put your idea out there. Okay, Sharif says we should terraform the Earth. I think we should not terraform the Earth. We should only terraform Mars. Or that's a great idea, Sharif. Yeah, let's terraform the earth and let's start in Camden, New Jersey. I wouldn't start you there. Okay, I'm out of time. If there are other comments, and if you make them, we will discuss them in our next gathering on um, Friday. Um, Perhaps at that time, Greg will say what he means by Google Docs surveillance capabilities. I just don't know what you mean by that. And on this note, I look forward to actually hearing from you. I look forward to if you like what I put down there, you should say it. This is really great. This is the best thing since sliced bread, etc. Um, in well, I have to rein myself in. This is one reason why I set a 30-minute timer. So I look forward to seeing you on Friday. May all beings be well. May all beings be secure, and may all beings be happy. Thanks. Talk to you later.